Now, the effects of frequency are far-reaching in our lives, but how can they exactly be the keys to unlocking our reality, our success, and our full potential? Well, in this video, I'm going to go into depth on how frequency is used as a literal key to begin to unlock our full potential. So, sound, frequency, vibration. How is it that it can be so powerful that it can be the key to unlocking your full potential? Well, first we have to kind of understand the basics of how reality operates. See, at the most micron level, at the smallest particle level, nothing is at rest. Everything is vibrating. As a matter of fact, there really is no such thing as solid matter, because even at the quarks and the particle level, everything has its own vibrational character, which also in turn has its own unique frequency. And so if that is the case, then everything, the hair on my head, the skin on my body, the plastic and the metal that makes this watch, everything carries its own resonant frequency, which we perceive to be matter. But this also can be translated into our cellular structure. Our bodies are made up of 7+ trillion cells. And at the cellular level, every single cell vibrates at its own inherent frequency. As a matter of fact, science has proven that a healthy human cell vibrates at around 110,000 hertz. So, if everything has its own frequency and vibration, then how can we use frequency to unlock our full potential? Well, before we get into the healing characteristics of sound frequency and how sound therapy can really change our lives and our health, most people are interested in how or why they're not able to achieve their full potential, why they have tried so hard to change their habits, to quit bad habits, to create new habits that are beneficial for them and allow them to achieve the goals and the success, the abundance and the wealth and the love and the happiness that they have been searching for. Well, all of that has to start within our minds. And I'm not just talking our brain, I'm talking our unconscious or our subconscious mechanisms. Because when we begin to really dive deep into what makes us tick, then we really begin to understand that it's our unconscious thoughts, feelings, emotions, actions, reactions that create our reality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how frequency can unlock out the power of our mind so that we can then reprogram ourselves with new codes and lines of codes that will allow us to achieve anything we desire. In order to fully understand and have a place to start from, we have to explore the unconscious mind. What is the unconscious mind? Where is it located? How does it work? Well, the unconscious mind is really, I like to liken it to the hard drive or the operating system of a computer. And this operating system of ours as humans was programmed and created at the time of our birth, from the time we were in our mother's womb all the way up to age 13, 14. And at that point is when all of our habits, thoughts, feelings, the way that we are programmed to interact with the world have been created. And the reason why this is so is because of the frequency that our brains were in during this time. See, science has proven that from the time we were born till about 7 years old, actually till about 3-4 years old, our brains are in what's called delta frequency. It's a dominant frequency wave of the both hemispheres of our brain. The right and left hemispheres are synchronizing and pulsing back and forth in the delta wave. And then from about 2 to 3 all the way up to 7, Then our brains change into the theta wave. And then from 7 to about 13 and 14, then we begin to go into the alpha waves. And then from 13 on, we are in what's more dominantly known as the beta brainwave frequencies. But what do these brainwave frequencies have to do with being a key to unlocking our full potential? Well, the mystery lies within what these frequencies allow, how they allow the brain to operate. Most people, most adults, don't go into the delta brainwave frequency unless they are in a deep, deep sleep at night. And this is a very important brainwave frequency because this is when all of the old neurotransmitters and adenosine and things are flushed out of our brain, and our body actually does a cleaning and a checkup. And then in the theta mode, this is a very creative, a very deeply creative mode where we're able to solutionize and think of things. And this is what's called a lighter sleep frequency range. And many people who have meditated for many years can actually get into a theta mode during meditation. And then the next frequency range is the alpha range. And the alpha range is more closely aligned with focus, intuition, and also creativity. Now, when we venture into the beta realm, the beta frequency is mostly associated with analytical thinking. So when we wake up in the morning, our brain waves go from the deep, if you're lucky you're in a delta, then theta, and then the alpha. So by the time we open up our eyes, we're in this alpha brainwave frequency for about 15 to 20 minutes until our brainwaves shift into beta. And that is why we're kind of groggy. That is why maybe sometimes you get epiphanies or ideas the first time you wake up. Maybe you went to bed with a problem that you're trying to solve and you woke up with a solution, and that's the reason why. Now, when we slip into this beta brainwave, dominant brainwave frequency, now that's when we pretty much cut off all of the intuition and the creative faculties of the left or the dominantly left hemisphere of our brain, and then we're just thinking. Then we're analyzing everything. And so in order for us to be able to reprogram our mind, our unconscious or our subconscious systems that were programmed when we were a child, we have to use frequency as the key to unlock, or more correctly, to drive us into these lower frequencies so that way we can be what's called susceptible or suggestible to new programming. And this is what happens with hypnosis, is a great example. Whenever you're listening to someone and they get you in a relaxed state, or there's a TikTok that happens back and forth or what have you, that is actually putting your range of focus into something that is matching a lower brainwave frequency. And so then therefore, due to the frequency following response, which simply is a phenomenon that states whenever our ears and our brain recognizes a predominant frequency in our environment or a beat, we want to entrain to that, which is also where brainwave entrainment comes from. So whenever our brain entrains to a lower frequency, that is when we become suggestible. And this is the key to achieving anything you want to achieve in the world. Why? Because it is at this frequency level that you are able to reprogram your brain, your unconscious mind. Because our conscious mind, our analytical thinking mind, which is where we're 90% of the day, 95% of the day operating in, this is analytically thinking. And it also acts as like a goalie from all the things we receive, all of the stimuli we receive through our eyes, our ears, our mouths, our sense of smell. What is this? We're analyzing it. We're constantly analyzing it. Does that match what our belief system is? And if it doesn't match what our belief system is, our conscious mind discards it, and it does not get into our unconscious mind. And so in order to reprogram any old beliefs that we learned when we were young of maybe scarcity, how to handle money, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, or I'll never make enough money, or I can't be rich, or money's the root of all evil, or all of those things that we could have been exposed to predominantly as children, they cannot be accessed in the beta state of frequency. And so then therefore we have to use frequency to entrain our brain to bring the right and left hemispheres of the brain together. It's what's called a hemisync or a hemispheric synchronization. When we use frequency to bring those two hemispheres of the brain together, and we take that into out of beta into an alpha or even a theta brainwave state, then what we have done is we've opened up the operating system of the computer, and we are able to now put in new lines of code and erase or overwrite old lines of code. And when this happens, we begin then to grow actual new neural highways or new neural connections that are based on this new way of thinking. And this is the way, the most effective form of reprogramming or rewiring your mind, your unconscious and your subconscious mind, so that way you can achieve what it is that you want to achieve in life. So I'll give you an example. If you, let's say perhaps like myself, grew up in a very restrictive and a very staunch religious background or upbringing where you were constantly told that money is the root of all evil, you should never strive for more, you should only be happy with a roof over your head, food on the table, and clothes on your back. If these were the types of things that were constantly being taught to you at a young age when you were susceptible, then when you're older, you could consciously, just like I did, understand that that's not true. Money isn't evil. I can do so much good with a lot of money. And I actually saw and met a lot of people who were philanthropists and were very well off and very wealthy, and they were doing good with their money. So I saw the physical proof, and my conscious mind said, well, okay, then this is actually true. But my unconscious mind, which is, and this is important to note, that the unconscious or your subconscious mind actually controls 95% of your thoughts, feelings, actions, emotions, and reactions that you experience throughout the day. 95%. So if your unconscious mind, if you haven't been talking to your unconscious mind and saying, hey, this is our new belief system, then it doesn't matter what your conscious mind thinks. You will then be striving after the wind. And what essentially that means is that you're trying consciously to achieve all of these things, but your unconscious mind, because it has not been recalibrated or updated with your new software, it will act as a boat anchor, dragging you down and self-sabotaging you and doing all of these things to keep you from achieving your goals. And the reason why is because our unconscious and subconscious mind does not know the difference between right or wrong. It does not know good or bad. All it knows is what it knows. And if what it is receiving through the stimuli of your eyes, ears, mouth, and nose, if what it is receiving is not matching what it has been programmed or what it knows, it automatically will redirect you. You want to think of it as a compass or a GPS that has been programmed. Have you ever driven down the road and maybe perhaps put in the wrong place, and after you put in that GPS, you know you're wait, I don't want to go there, I'm going to go there, but you don't recalibrate your Google map, and you're driving down the road and then you turn and it says, please make a U-turn. Stop. Please make a U-turn. Turn around. And you keep driving and it's like, up ahead, turn right and make a U-turn. And it keeps trying to tell you, right? Well, that's kind of like our unconscious mind. When our conscious mind sort of goes off track, according to what the unconscious mind believes, then it'll continue to say, no, that's not where we want to go because that's not what we believe. Now, the only difference between Google Maps or Apple Maps and our unconscious mind is that we can continue on down the road unrestricted to drive where we want to drive, even if our Google Maps is telling us where to go. But if our unconscious mind is saying that's not where we want to go, then remember that controls 95% of our thoughts, feelings, actions, emotions, and reactions throughout the day. Well, then that is going to win. That's why people experience self-sabotage. That's why sometimes you might have sicknesses at the last moment. I'm not feeling good whenever maybe you had to get up and go to that interview or meet that person or send that email or take advantage of that opportunity that you had. Something might always come up, or you might just feel lazy, or you'll get distracted, or what have you. And the reason being is because your unconscious mind is trying to keep you safe. It actually thinks it's keeping you safe. So it's trying to keep you from doing these things. So how do you use frequency again to rewire your unconscious mind? How do you use frequency as the key? Well, using frequency and hemispheric synchronization of your brain waves and bringing both your right and left hemisphere of the brain into an alpha or a theta state allows you to then reprogram yourself. And this can be done through affirmations. This can be done through custom subliminals that you create for yourself, or you have someone that you trust create for you. And this can be done through visualization, visualizing yourself, achieving the things that you set forth, having a vision board, and then sitting and getting yourself in a meditative state, or using certain frequencies and tones in your ears to bring your brain into that alpha frequency range, and then focusing on the visualizations that you have. That's why you probably have heard that you should read your affirmations right when you wake up in the morning and right when you go to bed. Why? Because right when you wake up, like I said before, about 15 to 20 minutes right from when your eyes open, you're in that alpha brainwave frequency, and that is a suggestive state. And so when you have your affirmations or your goals clearly written out in a positive way that your unconscious mind can understand, and that's a whole nother video, but when you have them written out and you read them to yourselves in that state, when you are in an alpha brainwave, then you are emitting the vocalizations, the feelings, and the frequencies out of your vocal cords into your reality while your brain is in a suggestible state. And then that is how you can reprogram yourself, because we are only programmed, we can only train ourselves, our brain and our minds, through repetition. And so you do this also just before you go to bed, because when you're tired and you're drowsy, that's the time whenever your brain is in a lower state overall frequency, right? And so that is how you can use frequency as the key to unlock the power of your reality, to allow you to take back control of creating your reality, to stop being self-sabotaged, to stop feeling like you have an anchor behind you all day, every day when you're trying to achieve these goals, to take it from being 6 months, a year, 2 years to achieving your goals, to being 3 months, 6 months to achieving your goals, because you have nothing holding you back. And that is where the power of frequency comes in. So if you want to learn more about how to use those types of frequencies or get access to those kinds of frequencies so that way you can use them on a daily basis, 2 years ago, I actually created an app because I use these same methods to turn my life around, to create success, not only for myself, not only for my wife and my family, but also for my clients and also for my friends. And so I created an app called the Level Up app, and you can see that at isosynclabs.com. And that is why I created isosynclabs.com. So that way I can create these frequencies. A trusted person with a good intention has these frequencies created so that way you can use them and take control of your life. Now, there's so much more to this. This is just barely scratching the surface of the power of sound, frequency, and vibration. So if you want to learn more, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more, because I have so much more to bring to you. As a certified clinical hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, and sound therapist, and ISM certified mind coach, I've been diving deep into these aspects of life, sound, frequency, reprogramming, our mind control, personal development, and I've applied them into my life, and now I want to continue to share them with you. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with someone who you might think can benefit.